Hey there, welcome back to the YouTube channel and the videos about marketing your business and how to be successful with that. I'm currently recording this one at the baseball field while my son practices, so I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet today. And if you hear any clanging or banging or heads up, just ignore it and we're going to keep on moving. So today I really want to talk about an ideal client hack that I think will make a huge difference in how you talk to your ideal client. I know that a lot of times we hear this ideal client, concept over and over and over again. And there's so many times that it's like, but I know my ideal client. She's a mom and she works in corporate, right? But there's nothing differentiating her from anyone else or how you speak to them. And so I really hope that today's ideal client hack, just random dogs. I really hope that today's ideal client hack really gives you the opportunity to get a little bit more intimate with your ideal client and figure out what makes the most sense for you. There's this quote by Steve Jobs that I really love. It's "Get closer than ever to your customers. So close you can tell them what they need well before they realize it themselves." So let's talk about why it matters who your ideal client is. By knowing intimately who your ideal client is, you can craft tailored solutions for them. So it's about more than just, oh, I have this cool thing and it's going to serve you, but you can talk about how it integrates into their day-to-day lives. You can anticipate and meet their unique needs with precision. There's no guesswork because you know them intimately. You can communicate anything that, like their concerns, their aspirations, their values. Foster a sense of connection through personalized messaging. Again, if you know that your client is Susie and she's a stay-at-home mom and that at 5 o'clock every day her husband comes home and he isn't taking over like she wishes he would, but you can talk to that point, right? Or the stay-at-home mom who at 2 o'clock every day has a cup of coffee for picking me up before the kids get off the bus at 3 because she's exhausted, right? And that's when she's scrolling Facebook. So speak to her in that moment, right? It allows you to build trust. So people are going to trust you if you are far more trustworthy because you know where they are and you emotionally, you know where they are mentally, and you can speak to that specific point. So like I said, showcasing a deep understanding fosters credibility and loyalty. So that's super important. So the first step in this, hack is basically all the things you've already ever done. So you have your ideal client, this persona, this person that you are, that you think is your ideal client, and she might be, or he. But this is where we start, right? What do they do for a living? What's their family structure, and what is their lifestyle like? Are they mountain climbers? Are they whatever, right? So this is like the base. This is what everybody knows to do for their client persona. We're going to take it a step further and we're going to get more in depth with the with this idea. So I've created something that I call the Moore's formula. This is the Moore's formula, and it stands for morning routine, their office workday, relatives and family, their evening routine, and what their stressors are. And we're going to talk about each piece of that, and how we can take the original, what we've always done for a target client, and then we're going to apply the Moore's formula to that person. And then you're going to be able to speak to them in a way that is so beyond intimate, and you've provided something for them that is a no-brainer. So let's start with the first one, which is their morning routine. So I want you to think about Susie, and I want you to think about, we're going to go single mom, or not single mom, but stay-at-home mom. So Susie wakes up in the morning, and she has to wake up before the kids. She doesn't eat breakfast because it makes her nauseous. I'm talking about myself. I don't exercise, right? So let's think about the key details of who would be this ideal client. So Susie, what time does she wake up in the morning? Does she have coffee? Does she have tea? Are her kids already up running and screaming? Does she not have children? Is the cat purring because, he wants breakfast? Really hone in to exactly what her morning would look like. What kind of interaction with her family members does she have in the morning? Does she have a husband? Does she have children who are running and screaming? Or does she have quiet time in the mornings because nobody's awake yet and she's doing a devotional or something? So really, really, really get deep into her morning routine, every aspect of it, timestamp it even if you can. And then we have the office workplace. Let's move to a different ideal client. So the office is going to be, maybe he's a lawyer. Maybe your ideal client's a lawyer. And he gets to work at 7 a.m. because he gets in before everybody else does and the hustle and bustle starts. What does his work environment look like? Is it a, small town one-man show office where he's got to unlock the office? Or is he showing up and it's a high rise in some big city somewhere? Write those details down, because the perception and the way that you speak to them will be different in each situation. So knowing that intimacy and knowing those details are going to allow you to communicate better. What does he do during his break? Does he get a break? He probably doesn't. If he's a lawyer, he got a phone call and he ran off to court. So he didn't get that break. But your ideal client might. Is their boss a jerk? Are they the boss and are they a jerk? Think about all of these different pieces of the puzzle. Maybe your ideal client works from home, and so there's those nuances. Kids in and out of the house, the husband in and out, animals who need to go outside, things like that. Really delve into all of the intricate details of what their office/workspace and work day really look like. Of the Moore strategy, we're on letter R, which is relatives and family. So what do their interactions with family look like during the day? Are their kids, older? Are they younger? Do they not have children? Do they have animals? Are they married? Are they engaged? Are they living with their significant other? Are they still living with their parents? Maybe your ideal client is a 19-year-old college student. That's entirely possible. What do those interactions look like? What questions is their family asking them? What type of interactions? They have to eat dinner together? Do they eat breakfast together? Do they eat lunch together? Do they rarely see each other because everybody's so busy? Really look at those things. They're driving their kids around after school to activities. Are they dating and the dating pool sucks? Are they single parenting and it's not, if it's a single mom, there's not a man she doesn't want a man, right? Write that down, because that matters, right? Because, someone who's happily married and a stay-at-home mom, you're gonna speak to her in a way that is understanding of her situation, in the sense that she is stable and she's exploring what she can do when her kids are grown, maybe. But you're talking to a single mom, she's busy, she doesn't have time for your mess. And you need to encourage her that she can do all of the things, she can create the life that she wants. There's just two ways to look at that, and so you're going to speak to them differently. And I hope that this is all kind of coming together for you in a way that it's making sense to get really intimate, and how your language and how the way that you speak to this person is going to matter based on who your ideal client is and being that intimate with them. So in the Moore's strategy, there's the E, the evening routine. What does it look like? Is your ideal client watching TV, vegging out on YouTube, TikTok, whatever it is that your ideal client is doing in the evening? Cooking dinner, running kids everywhere. Is she going out to dinner? Is she going with her friends? Is she playing video games? Social activities, like maybe she goes to church group on Wednesday nights. Maybe she likes the time alone, and so she books time by herself for an hour every evening, because that hour means so much to her. Is she taking a shower? Is she ordering food out, right? Like, all of these pieces are going to change how you talk to her, because her lifestyle is different. If she's busy and she's on the move and she's out with her girlfriends and out with her boyfriend and all of those things, you're like, hey, my solution can fit into your busy schedule. If she's a calm and relaxed, maybe empty nester, and her husband is, reading the newspaper in the chair, which I don't think anybody does that anymore, but regardless, like, I'm picturing the idea here, and she's knitting, having a nice calm evening, right? Like, any of that is possible. And so being able to speak to her in a way that resonates with her lifestyle is going to matter. And I know I've said it 10 times, but just go with me on it. And then the S, so Moore's strategy, the S is the stressor. So the day has gone on, everybody's in bed, including them, and they can't sleep. What is keeping up your ideal client at night? What is it that bothers them? What are they dreaming about? What are they saying? Man, I would love this, or I would love that. Or they wake up at 3 a.m. every morning and they can't sleep anymore. Maybe your ideal client has sleep problems, and your product can solve that. And knowing that, and knowing what those stressors are and what's keeping them up at night, is going to allow you to speak to that specifically. So here's the Moore's formula recap. So you have the morning routine. Get detailed. What are they drinking? Timestamp it. I mean, the whole system should be time stamped, but getting that intimate with them really matters. What does the office day look like? Do they work from home? Do they go to a little mom and pop shop? Are they at a restaurant? Do they go to a high rise and everybody fawns over them because they're the boss, right? Like, the way that you speak to all of those people is going to be a little bit different. R is relative, so what do their family interactions look like throughout the day? What is their evening routine? TV, video games, knitting, whatever it is. And then their stressors and what keeps them up at night. So that's Moore's strategy. Allows you to get really, really intimate with your ideal client. And I do want to say here, right, you might have more than one ideal client. You might have 10 of these avatars, but when you have 10 of these avatars, you can create messaging to each one of them. So your messaging, your Facebook post that goes to where you're talking to the empty nester lady who's knitting and has a very calm and peaceful life is going to sound different than your 19-year-old, looking for love person. Like, your messaging is different. You're going to be more upbeat with the younger person. You're going to be more chill with the older person. But you can use both of those messaging styles in your social media and in your emails and all of that. But just make sure that you're hitting on each of those through all of your messaging, and eventually something that you say will resonate with the right person. It's cold out here, you guys. All right, so strategic implementation. So now that you have this intimate day with your ideal client, what do you do with it? So you need to align your products and services with their needs and challenges. So for example, if you have a client, an orthodontist, they have really kind of two if you're an orthodontist, your clients are going to be adults who want to fix their teeth. And then you also have adults who have children who need teeth fixed. Now, don't mix that up, right? So the client isn't a child. The client is still the adult. But one is a busy mom who needs you to fit into her schedule. But the other one is an adult who's trying to have her teeth fixed, and it might be a busy schedule. She might also be a stay-at-home mom, and it's not as, and all of her kids are in, older schools. So they're gone all day. And so it's a little bit different. You're going to speak to her differently. It's about time you took care of yourself rather than the kids all the time. As much as we love our children, i.e. me sitting at the baseball field. You can craft marketing messages that resonate with their daily experiences. You can target them specifically with Facebook ads, and you can speak to that specific person, and it will resonate with them. You can build a customer experience that acknowledges their lifestyle, pain points, and empathizes with them. So let's say you get stay-at-home mom to come in and, talk about having her teeth done, right? She's, older, she's more financially stable, all of those things. And so in that consultation with her, you're going to hit on that lifestyle and empathize with her. You've been taking care of kids for 20 years. It's time to take care of this for yourself. And then, the mom with the busy kids who are running around the office screaming their heads off, you're going to speak to her differently. Like, look, I know you're busy. Let's make this really quick and get you out the door onto your next thing, right? You are going to speak to them differently. So that's how you implement this Moore's strategy. So I want to hit on just a couple of examples and then we'll be done. So this is going to be a really fast video. So example number one is an orthodontist client. Her name is Jessica. She's 38. She's an elementary school teacher. She's married with 3 children, and she needs braces. She's always needed them, and she's finally in a financial position that she can make that happen. So this is kind of like, this on the left here is kind of what we've always been taught to do for our ideal client, but the Moore strategy has been applied on the right. So at 6 a.m., she rushes through a quick breakfast to get the kids ready for school, and 7:30, she heads for school for a full day of teaching. At work, she struggles for finding time for personal appointments due to work commitments. I mean, she's a teacher. She's got to be there during the bulk of the day. And then taking time off isn't really easy for a teacher because, she's responsible for this class and she's responsible for the success of these children. She values the orthodontic services. She's just never been in a financial place to do it until now. So now she's going to do it, but she needs someone that can cater to a busy schedule, like a teacher schedule. After, she manages homework and dinner and bedtime routines for the kids, with her family, because maybe her husband works a blue collar job and he doesn't come in till 8 p.m. In the evening, she spends quality time with her husband before a relaxing evening routine, and she practices yoga super late after her husband has gone to bed too, so that she gets that peaceful time to herself. What keeps her up at night is her concerns about her dental health and finding a balance between work and family. Those are the things that really she struggles with, right? So you would speak to those things, right? Like, you can take care of yourself and you can take care of your family. It's okay, blah, blah, blah. So I hope that makes sense. Let's look at another example. So example number 2 is a divorce lawyer client. So the client is Mark. He's 45. He owns his own business, but he's finding himself after a 20-year marriage getting divorced, and he's got 2 teenagers, and he wants what's best for them. So he's got a lot of assets, which may prove to be a fairly nasty divorce. So again, the column on the left is more what we've always been taught to look at as far as our ideal clients, but the column on the right is going to be more the Moore's strategy, right? More of the Moore's strategy. So in the morning, he dreads getting out of bed in the morning. Like, he is dragging. His life sucks. It's falling apart. He starts the day with really strong coffee and starts working almost immediately because it gets his head out of the mess. And then he juggles the complexities of business ownership, financial matters, appointments, travel, his team. All of those pieces have to get done, and he's got to do it because he is the owner of his business. He's navigating the emotional challenges of co-parenting and maintaining stability for the children. That's his relative. That's his R. That's his family structure right now, and it's very difficult. In the evening, he engages in family discussions with his kids about the divorce process and what's happening, and he works on some personal development because he knows he's better than what he's had so far and what he's produced so far, and so he does some personal development and some self-care to manage stress. So maybe he works out in the evenings. The stressors, the things that keep him up at night, are obviously the financial implications, because he's got this business that he's worked so hard to build. Is he going to have to give her half of it or sell it? That's stressful for him. He wants to ensure a smooth transition for his kids. And then he's contemplates the emotional toll of the divorce and seeks reassurance about the legal process. Like, he's just never done this before. He's been married for 20 years. He thought they were happily married, and now all hell is breaking loose, and he just doesn't know which way is up, and he needs someone that he can trust to turn to. So can you see, by knowing the intimates in column 2, that you can speak to those nuances rather than just go with the basics in column 1. Like, you can truly get into his heart and into his soul and speak to him where he is. Example number 3 is a health and fitness coach client. So if you're a health and fitness coach, this is your client that you're trying to market to. So Emily is age 32. She's a marketing professional. She's single. She lives downtown. She don't need no man. And she's not obese, but she's also like not in shape. So she just wants to get healthier. She wants to get fit. So in the morning, she starts the day with a cup of coffee, or a cup of green tea, and a quick morning stretch because, she's trying to better herself. She begins work, spends hours working in front of the computer. She works from home. So it's kind of sedentary, in front of a computer, and she's a tendency to snack all day because her fridge is, 3 feet away. She's navigating I missed the relatives one. So I would say she's single, so she spends time with her friends, but her familiar interactions are probably just her mom calling every afternoon to be like, hey, are you still alive? Are you good? Do you need anything? In the evening, she follows an online workout session, but she's not getting the results she wants, so she skips it sometimes because it's just not working, and she thinks it should. She doesn't know the missing link. And she eats somewhat healthy meals, so, grilled chicken or fish or whatever it is that she's been, read online or watched some YouTube video about, what to do. And then her stressors are, she's concerned about work-related stress. So she, kind of keeps her up at night that she didn't get, XYZ project done. And she's a desire to improve her overall health and fitness. And so, she's like, man, I shouldn't have had those M&Ms today. Or, man, I should not have gone for ice cream after dinner, right? Like, so those are the kind of thoughts that she's having, and she's beating herself up about it because she wants to be successful. And so you can speak to that. Are you guys hearing that? And then the final example that I want to hit on is, maybe you own a boutique, and so your clients, your shoppers, you need to know how to speak to them as well. And so you have Alex. She's age 28. She's a graphic designer. She's engaged. She's planning a wedding, so that's very busy. And she has a desire. She's very stylish. She wants a stylish wardrobe curated. It reflects her creative profession, so it's bright and colorful and beautiful. So in the morning, she starts with a cup of artisanal coffee, browsing through a fashion magazine or Pinterest, looking at Vogue and things like that. I don't know if that's still popular. Office. So she goes to work. She's collaborating on design projects and attending creative meetings. I just picture her walking through this really, quirky office with brick walls and original pine floors that have been stained dark, and these big huge modern lights, right? Like that's what I picture her life at work looking like. And then when she gets a break or she's walking between meetings, she's scrolling on Instagram, looking at fashion influencers. On lunch, that's what she does. She's looking for the next greatest thing. Relatives, excuse me, she's juggling wedding planning with a demanding creative job. So she's busy, and her mom wants to know when she's having grandkids. So that's, she ends the call on her mom every 5 seconds because she just doesn't have time for that. And she enjoys trying restaurants and socializing with friends. So after work, she goes out to have a couple drinks with her friends, and she winks. She doesn't wink at the cute guy because she's engaged. So maybe she goes out to a couple drinks with her fiance, and then they go home and snuggle up. So maybe after drinks, she's exploring the local boutiques. So that's what I have here. She goes to art galleries after work for their events. Maybe her friend is an artist and she's going to support her. Like all of these things. You can get so detailed. You need to tell a very specific story about this potential client. She expresses creativity with design projects and collaborations. She reflects on the balance. So her stressors are that she reflects on the balance between work, personal life, and the desire to be unique and fashionable. So, she wants, this big, beautiful, grand, amazing life. And she also wants to focus on work and be successful there. And she wants to focus on her fiance, and she wants her relationship to be successful. And so, tying all of those things in, all of those loves in her life, is might be a struggle for her. So maybe you offer curated shopping experiences, right? So it's just something I just pulled out of my rear end. But maybe you offer personal shopping time, like you build a relationship with that client. It's like, hey, on Thursdays or on the third Thursday of the month, you come in and I'll have outfits curated for you because I have a relationship with you and I know what you like and what you don't like. And that gives you an opportunity for one-on-one time with that client. Or maybe it's in the evenings after you've closed. So there's somebody else in the store. But that gives you that one-on-one time with that client to really build that relationship. And then when she wants something, who's she calling? She's calling you. She's sending you pictures from the magazine. And she's like, can we find something like this? Because I love it. Excuse me. So really being able to delve into all of those intricate pieces is going to take you far further than just the simple information in the left-hand column here. So in conclusion, so we're going to be done now. Understanding the ideal client fosters authentic connections because you can really get on their level. You can get intimate with them. You can get very specific with them and what it is that they're looking for. You can implement the strategy, which leads to more effective marketing. If you can get into their hearts and minds, your marketing will go that much further because they trust you. They know that you're empathizing with them where they are in their life, and it's just something that gives you that edge over your competition. Because I guarantee you, most people aren't doing this when it comes to their client avatars, and this is going to give you an edge and allow you to one up them. Essentially, I mean, we're all in business, and we all have competition, so this will give you that leg up. Start observing and listening to your clients' daily lives. So if you are that boutique owner and you hear people coming in and they're complaining about, property taxes are too high again, or, whatever it is that your shoppers are talking about, listen to their conversations, listen to what it is that is their pain points and what's hurting them, physically, mentally, emotionally, and speak to them. So I hope that this ideal client, hack has been helpful for you. Here's that recap again. Really take the time to delve into each individual moment of their day. What does it look like? What are they feeling in that moment? And what can you do to solve their problems with your product or service? So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.